Hello, how's it going? Okay, I'm just gonna wait until a couple more people are on. We got 12 so far, as far as I can see. And well, let's see who else comes on. Okay, so um, you saw the title, right? Um, how to cast a spell that works. That's what I want to talk about um, today. And valuable knowledge and share it. Okay, so yeah, I want to talk about how to cast a spell that works, right? Um, I feel I feel like the basics are all, they become a little bit unclear as you go into all of the different details of you know uh, this art, the occultism, and everything else. The basics are often lost. Okay, and with everything, you do best if you focus on the basics and keep the basics uh, on point. Okay, so let's talk about how to cast a spell that works. Now, first of all, what is a spell? Any type of spell is a form of black magic. It just is. Okay. Even if you're healing someone, you're influencing things, right? I mean, a definition of black magic in that context would be imposing your will over the natural course of events. You know, I mean, you have decided that your intention or what you think is right is more important than what the natural course of events will produce, right? And that's a big deal. And I really want you to think about that because there's more to it than meets the eyes. I mean, there are a lot of implications that come with that. Okay, so the point is, first of all, you have to clearly make the decision. Okay, with every spell, you could say there is a preparation where moral implications as well as thoughts that I just mentioned come into play. Okay, and then you work on the actual spell, and then later the last stage will be that you um, assess your work. Okay, you assess your work. That's why you need a journal um, where you can basically write down when you did the spell, how you did the spell, as well as the results of it. Okay, but I I'm getting ahead of myself. The first thing that you need to do is, like I said, you need to decide on what the outcome is that you want to create. You got to get rid of your internal resistance to it. Okay, think about actually having the result. Okay, if you're able to do divination, look into the cards and see what things will actually be like once you have what you did the spell for. Okay, let's say you want to do a curse on someone. Okay, yeah, in the moment you might be mad and be like, oh, I just wish that person would you know get harmed. But um oftentimes the result is not going to be what it is that you wanted, and you're going to regret that. So it is very important that you, before you get into the spell, are not in conflict with yourself. That's what needs to be said. Yes, you can't be at conflict with yourself when you're casting a spell because you're influencing something that is outside of you. And if you are at conflict with yourself, that energy is not going to be clearly directed. In fact, it's going to cause problems within yourself. Okay, especially when it comes to baneful work. You've got to be absolutely sure that what you are doing the spell for is what you want to have happen. Okay, this is also um, taking responsibility for your work as a magician, as somebody who claims to be able to do these things. You have to be taking responsibility for everything in your life. You see what I mean? And this is where the hard part comes in. But that's the preparation. Next, we go into the actual technical part. How do you actually cast the spell? How do you actually cast the spell? And I'm gonna give you some actual recipes in just a minute, but I gotta say some uh, foundational things first. Okay, so the first thing is this: you need power to create a spell that works. What is power? Power is, at least when it comes to consistent results, okay? You might have, even if you're not at a very good level yet, or even if your psychic bodies are not very strong yet, you might get results here and there, and that's totally fine. That's great. And you should always practice. Even if you're not getting the result, you should always practice doing this spell. But I'm talking about how to get to a very high level. Okay, so you need power. What is power? Power is defined as the ability to direct attention and focus for an extended period of time. This is going to take your energy and focus it on one point. If you are looking at somebody that is facing you, or basically has their back turned on you, and you're looking at them, you're directing energy at them. This is oftentimes what people are turning around and looking at you when you do that. Okay, just try it out. Why? Whatever you pay attention to, you're directing energy at. Okay, you don't even have to consciously focus on it, but just paying attention to it, you're already directing energy at it. You're all directing energy at me right now. Okay, know that. But there's levels to this, right? So if you're able to focus your entire being, which is your entire energy, on one thought, on one outcome, you're creating a massive laser beam of energy that is directed at one outcome. Okay. And that's where you're capable of influencing people as well as events. Okay. Don't focus on the emotions, don't focus on the images, focus on the intention, on what you focus on, the images as well as the intentions and the energy that is being moved into those thoughts and emotions, meaning filling up the thought form with enough energy so that it can condense into the physical world, is going to be the byproduct of your focus and concentration. So, power in a magical sense is really your ability to concentrate, focus. Okay. Direction of energy happens after and as a byproduct of you being able to focus long enough. Okay. So, that's what needs to be understood. Implement the stuff that you use in your ritual. It should be something that corresponds with the energies that you're working with, and it should correspond with the person that you want to influence, if it's an influence spell. What do I mean by that? Correspondence. I mean, look at the word. It makes your core respond. At the core, these things, meaning the physical object and the energy, are interconnected. What does that mean? If you have a specific song that brings up emotions of, let's say let's say you want to do a love spell, and there's a song that you sing, I mean a song that you can listen to, and that brings up the emotion of desire, love, and lust, and all of that stuff. You could use that trigger to generate the right energy within you that you can then direct towards the right outcome. Okay, so the song at that point could be a magical tool. All right. This is, by the way, also what you can use on the fly. If you were to want to seduce somebody, and I know a lot of you guys who follow me are also into pickup. There's a psychic dimension to pick up, especially if you're a magician. You should, I believe that you should mainly do this psychically, energetically. You should be able to make a woman fall in love with you without speaking to her, without saying a word. You know, you should already be in her mind and in her energy uh, before talking to her. How would you do that? In public venues, especially in the nightlife and all that, you always have you will have music playing around you. You know, think about the words that are being spoken by these artists. Words such as you know, I mean, love. Most songs are about these emotions, right? Most songs that you will find out there, 80% they talk about love in some way or another. But unless it's rap music, then they're talking about hoes and but you get the idea, right? So you have all these energies. Understand that those are energies that are being moved into the environment, you see? And those words that are being spoken, you can tune into them and redirect them. Okay, so just listen and redirect it towards your target. And that medium of your imagination is going to make it possible for you to take in that energy and send it towards the person, you know? Okay. So that would be one application. Of course, I mean there are so many. I mean, if you have questions about psychic seduction and then how to do more of that stuff, put it into the questions because I'm going to answer questions later. But that's one application of that, right? Um, where was I? Implements, song triggers emotion. Yeah, okay. Um, so the principle is this: your core has to respond with the energy that is desired. Okay. When it comes to I mean, I don't know if you saw me. I put out a couple of spells that I casted on video, I think 2 years ago, man. And I did a breakup spell. If you look on my channel or just type in Grail of the Serpent breakup spell, you will see me do a breakup spell with apple cider vinegar. Vinegar. I used vinegar. Why? How? Well, vinegar, if you drink it, it's bitter, right? Doesn't taste good. Now, if you want to break up a couple, you can make the relationship of that couple bitter by using the energy that's in vinegar. You see, you through your imagination and through your concentration have to direct the energy into into the energy of the vinegar, the bitterness into the relationship of that of the couple. You know that works, and the couple definitely broke up. Okay, and I'm going to talk about moral considerations later. Um, so it's correspondences are really not that complicated. Now, of course, if you would want to do that in the context of, let's say, hermeticism or traditional ceremonial magic, you can definitely go for um, a book of correspondences, such as like I think book 4 by Aleister Crowley is pretty good for that, you know, and others, where you have a nice list of things that correspond with each other, such as like planetary energies, physical different objects, different incenses, and how they're all interconnected. So, for let's say a love spell that is ruled by the planet of Venus, there are certain incenses that are also connected to that you would also be able to use in that ritual, and colors and all of that stuff that are all connected to the same energy, you see. And you would create a nice ritual and a combination of those implements that create the right atmosphere, create the right atmosphere and change what's going on inside of you, get you into the right state of mind, into the right emotional state. That's really what it is about. You see, the ritual and what you see around the magician in the ritual is all helping him and her to get into the right state of mind, into the right emotional state. And once you're in the right emotional state, you can then direct that energy towards the outcome that you want. Okay. So that's how you would use it. Okay. Um, And that's the role of physical implements in the ritual. Okay, concentration, physical objects, visualization, very misunderstood. Now, first of all, the visualization is not the only part of your imagination, but you have to use your entire all of your imagination in the ritual. Okay, that's important. Um, but here's the key: when you can focus your entire being, when you can focus your entire being on one intention, ideally the end result that you want to see, everything is going to align top to bottom. You see. Now, for that, the different parts of yourself have to work together. See, we are not necessarily in a position where on a day-to-day basis we are always streamlined. What do I mean by that? We have a lot of internal conflicts. Everybody has those. Okay, those internal conflicts exist because parts of you want something and other parts want something else. Okay, so there's an internal conflict. You can explain it in many different ways. I mean, one of the ways to explain that is understanding that we have different brains, for instance, different brains that are all focused on different things. Okay, we have a reptilian brain that is very primal and is mainly concerned with survival, eating, sleeping, all of those basic things. And we have a mammal brain, which is basically emotional. Okay, that's why you can feel the emotions of your dog. You know, that's why you can know what that dog is. You know, it's mammal. You can feel it. You can have compassion for a dog, right? And then you got a rational part, which is very unique to us. We can actually think logically, and we can you know, make plans and all that. And we have a little bit of willpower. We can force ourselves to do something, but very little actually. Okay, we have very little willpower. So the key that we have to consider, and you know, the key that we have to use is we have to use an altered state where all of those parts can communicate better, and then we have to impose, or rather streamline all parts of ours to focus on the same thing. Okay, and this is where this energy machinery within you can really take an effect on things. Okay, so that's why we go into a trance. The reason why we have to go into a trance is because in a normal state of consciousness, your conscious and subconscious minds, the different parts of your brain are really compartmentalized. They're not working together very well. All within themselves, they're very efficient. The communication is very good. So the mammal brain and the reptilian brain within themselves communicate very well. But there's not that great of a communication with between those different parts. But in an altered state of consciousness, in a trance, we can make those things communicate better, and then we can use their entire force to our benefit. So our entire being needs to become focused on the outcome, and this is when the energy is going to flow towards it, and you're going to be able to make it happen. Now, what is the difference between a spell that that actually brings you what it is that you wanted and a spell that doesn't bring you what you wanted? It's the amount of energy that went into it. Okay, and the amount of energy that is required to make a spell happen or something happen is going to be you're going to be able to use that amount of energy or direct that amount of energy once your entire being is focused on the same thing. You see, so you need the trance to, first of all, streamline yourself, and secondly, to generate the right amount of energy. Okay, how long do you focus? How long do you do that? Well, your inner world needs to precede what you want to experience in the external world. So you have to focus your entire being on the outcome as long as it takes to feel it and to experience it as if it's already happened. Okay. And That's really it. That's how you cast the spell. That's how you cast the spell. So, of course, I'm going to go into more detail. I mean, you guys just ask your questions. I'm going to try to give you a better insight here. You know. Okay. Hail, Lucifer, and thanks for coming live, Frank. Thanks for being here. Hello, Frank. Looking forward to the gems you bestow upon us. Yeah. Okay. I'm doing my best. How you doing, Frank? Good to see you. I'm doing well, thank you. Okay. Greetings, Frank. So much valuable knowledge is shared in these live streams. Absolutely love it. I'm glad you appreciate it. What's up, Frank? Finally able to catch a live stream. What's up, Desmond? O'Shea Johnson. Okay. Is it better to feed some of someone's energy you want to attract or inject them with energy or different things for different situations? Is it better to feed off someone's energy you want to attract or inject them with energy or different things for different situations? Hmm. I don't really understand how those two go together, to be honest. Well, see it like this, okay? Come back to physics, and we know that in physics, an object has a certain amount of inertia to it, okay? Meaning objects that are not moving have a tendency to stay not moving unless there's an external force that moves them into the right direction, okay? And the force that you have to use to move that object has to be greater than the inertia within that object. Okay, you can actually measure the inertia with an object. Well, on Earth, you would probably say that's the gravitational pull of the core of this planet, right? That's how you measure inertia. Let's say an object is not moving. The potential energy that's in there is the gravitational pull of Earth. So if I want to move this object, let's say this phone was lying on the floor, but I want to lift it, I have to use a certain amount of energy to lift it, right? So the amount of energy that you need to use to get an energy into movement that was not moving before is the energy within that inertia, the potential energy within the inertia plus another amount. You see? So the same applies to people's way of thinking. Okay, we all know that the human being tries to conserve energy. Okay, that's why we have habitual patterns of doing things and habitual patterns of thinking and feeling. Okay, if you really observe yourself as well as others, we are creatures of habit. That's in order to conserve energy, because if we're already moving into a certain direction, it's just easier to go with that momentum. You see? So in order to break a momentum, you need to use more energy than the pull of that momentum. Okay. So your question doesn't really make sense in a way where if you want to get somebody to do something, you have to put the energy into getting them to do that. And how much energy will that be? It's more energy than their habitual way of doing things. It's more energy than their willpower. It's more energy than whatever energy is in that activity that they're doing. Does that make sense? I hope it doesn't. I mean, I hope it makes sense. To me, it makes perfect sense. But that's me. Well, please ask if you want clarification. But the point is this: if you want somebody to do something, obviously you will need to put in energy into that, right? And the energy needs to be greater than the momentum of the activity or their plans. Yeah, hope that makes sense. Okay. Pedro. Hi, Frank. Check your email as soon as you can. Regards. I will do that. Okay, Sarah Bentley. Hearts. Love you back. Greetings, brother. What's up, modern magician? Good evening, Frank. How well does a sea bath cleanse your aura or yourself? It cleanses very well. Um, a bath in the sea or in the ocean is probably the best thing you can do to cleanse your energy. The next best thing would be a bathtub full of salt water. Okay, water with sea salt. It's very good. Good stuff. A lot of traditional rituals are done in the ocean. When you receive an inspiration, okay, this is Gavin. When you receive an inspiration or insight during meditation, is it better to stop and write it down immediately or to wait until the meditation is finished? Well, that really depends on how important that insight is. I usually sit through the entire meditation because I'm usually going to be able to remember the insight. And well, if it's a very, very profound insight or some solution comes up, yeah, I might stop my meditation and write it down. But I mean, there's no clear rule there. Okay. Oftentimes, also, what your mind's going to do is it's just going to build upon that one insight. So if you stay in meditation, you're going to get even deeper insights and then deeper understandings of things. You know? Temple of Black Eroticism. Peace. Yeah. What's up? Peace out to you. Can your guardian angel be a child? And have you received gifts from random spirits during a trance? A spirit brought me what it seems like a cookie. Peace, everyone. Well, yeah. I mean, you will have all kinds of experiences in your meditations and in your astral travels and whatnot. The question is, how can you make use of it? Okay, and that's really the key. How does it help you? See, um, is it practically? Can you apply it practically in one way or another? I don't think. I don't know. Maybe you could make the cookie useful for you, but I would treat that as an experience that um, was an experience, but I wouldn't interpret too much into it. You know, it's just probably not that significant. You know what I mean? Do you feel my power? Think about something you would like to know. If it's true, then when you love your fingers, you will smell the roses. Do you feel my power? Think about something you would like to know. If it's true, then you love your fingers, you will smell the roses. I wonder if you can, do you feel my power? Okay, I wonder if you can feel my power. If I just go onto your comment and a couple of different options turn up. And one of them is get rid of this guy, okay? Block him from your channel. And guess what? Zap. Damn. I wonder if you felt that. I wonder if you felt that. Okay. The longer you take the sea bath, the deeper the cleanse. Yes. What techniques would you use for a job spell? Um, a job spell, meaning getting a job. What techniques? The technique. Okay. Well, I get it. You have to ask in that way. Um, okay. I think Jupiter energy is good for that. Okay. Job spell. Jupiter energy. Get your. Okay. Here's how I would construct that spell. I would probably work with Betor, which is a spirit connected to the planet of Jupiter, to that energy. I would research the energy. I mean, the metaphysical energy of Jupiter. Okay, for magical rituals, it's completely irrelevant what the physical conditions on a planet are. It's about the metaphysical qualities. Okay, so I would research the occult energies of the planet. Then I would get myself into the right state of mind with what I described earlier. Before that, I would of course do a banishing. I would have the sigil of Betor ready. Get yourself into the right state of mind, right state of consciousness, and go into a trance, and then open the sigil. If you don't know how to open the sigil, just call upon his name. Say Betor over and over again. And get yourself into a trance. Really get in touch with your emotions. And then have a blue candle so you can focus on something. A bluish candle, okay, royal blue. And as you're focusing on the candle light, focus on you having the job. Okay, look at the candle and focus on you having the job already. That's the intention that you should hold. And as you're holding the intention, your inner images are going to pop up as you already having that job, you know. And as the images are there, the images are then going to turn into emotions. You know, the order is like this: you have thoughts, thoughts trigger images, images trigger emotions, and then your entire being can focus on that end result. Okay, I would do that for at least 45 minutes if you really, really want that. You got to completely exhaust yourself in the ritual. Okay. And then when you come out of the ritual, you should be hungry and tired because you're exerting a lot of energy. So it's kind of like a workout. It is literally. You can measure that actually. Okay. You can measure a change in the temperature of the room when before and after. You can change, I mean, probably even your blood sugar would be affected. It's like it's real energy that is being pushed and moved towards the outcome, you see. So that's how I would do it. And then as an offering to a Jupiter spirit, I would probably give money. Yeah, I'll give money as an offering. So tell them for my first paycheck, I'm going to give you I don't know, $50. I'm going to give you that as an offering. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. How can I clear up and clean up ancestral karma? Well, ancestral karma can be cleared up like individual karma because it's part of your energy center or energy being. Okay. How do you change your karma? Well, the first thing is you need to get rid of energy blocks. Your karma is the result of samskaras, and samskaras are energy blocks in your etheric body. They're essentially habitual ways of doing things. You can change your karma by changing how you think, feel, and act. That's it. Think, feel, and act differently. Okay, so if I were a Buddhist, I would tell you to align your thoughts, your words, and actions. That's it. You don't want something anymore. Let's say your karma has been to be addicted to a certain substance. All that you need to do is change how you think about that, change how you talk about it, and change how you act. It's that simple. That's how you change your karma. Now, I'm not saying that it's that it's easy or simple, or without, or it's possible to go to get off a substance without withdrawal symptoms. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, but karma itself is not very complicated. Karma is just the result of your thoughts, words, and actions. It's that simple. You have the feedback. If I think, I mean, if I got a massive guy, let's say a 7 foot guy that is like 400 pounds, and I think asshole, and I say asshole, and I punch him, okay, the karma of that action is gonna be me getting the beat the fuck up, right? Well, that's the karma, cause and effect. Think asshole, say asshole, and punch him. But if I think respect, and I say, hey, what's up, respect, and I just nod my head, and it's like, how's it going, respect, the karma is going to be different. He's probably going to be nodding back, and he's probably going to be like, I mean, he's going to be an ally or something like that. At least nobody was going to beat me. So it's that simple. And the laws of karma are really not complicated. People overcomplicate it, but that usually happens if you take a an Eastern concept and teach it to uh, a Western society that has been influenced by Catholicism for a very long time. And I mean, I don't say that in any judgmental way. It's not what I'm saying. Of course, Catholicism is bad, but look, just like taking the concept of what would be a Roman Catholic concept that would be misunderstood in another culture. Um, Look, I mean, Hinduism is an actual religion, right? Now, you can't take the concept of celibacy, which is a Roman Catholic concept, and give it um, to a Hindu. It makes no sense. They I mean, somebody that practices tantra, they do orgies. They yeah, they have group sex. So these things are very incompatible. So um, I think you should know as much as you can about any religion. Okay. But as an occultist, you're not religious. Okay. You understand these things as different approaches to spirituality. And you can definitely pick and choose from different concepts, but um, you should never be superficial. Okay. As an occultist, you approach these things as a scholar. You study these things, but in depth. Okay. And then you can see what you can use for your magical practice. Okay. But the concept of karma is definitely very, very, very misunderstood. Okay. Oh man. Okay. This is and I just came on in the middle of my own ritual. Really, you interrupted your own ritual for this? Okay. What techniques would you use for a job spell? I think I answered that. Nothing better than finishing a workout and find you are doing a live stream, my friend. What's up, Kevin? Hmm. Does the sea salt bath only get rid of negative energy? No, it gets rid of a lot more than that. It gets rid of any energy. So you might be actually exhausted after that. When you say visualize the end result, so hypothetically, if I wanted someone, uh, no, that's not what it is. Frank, do you have a favorite author of metaphysics, esoteric, magic, etc.? Favorite, yeah, Franz Barton, probably one of my favorites. Yeah. Franz Barton. Um, Can you please give concrete steps to manifest things through evocation, please? Well, evocation. Evocation. And believe it or not, has a lot has a lot in common with casting a spell, because you also need to focus your energy. Okay. Um, so you would create an atmosphere that is conducive to the manifestation of the spirit. What does that mean? They come from different energies, different atmospheres. Okay, so try to create an atmosphere that is in in alignment with their energy. Okay, then you could use the sigil or the name to call the energy near. Okay, call the energy near. Now you have to let the energy flow through you. Remember, when it comes to the psychic worlds, you are what you think about. Okay, so you have to become that energy for a short amount of time, or rather, merge with it. You cannot evoke without invocation. It's impossible. Okay, I don't know who came up with this bullshit. I know a lot of people say that evocation is when the spirit is absolutely not inside. That's ridiculous. It's bullshit. Even if you have a conversation with a person, his energy is going to affect you. So how would be a possible would be a ritual like this possible without being affected by the spirits? Okay, so of course you got to let that energy flow through you. You got to listen. If you have any amount of resistance within you, let's say fear, uh, or anything else, you're not going to be successful with the evocation. You know, I mean, I get this all the time. People are like, I couldn't evoke that spirit. I was, and then they keep talking, and in the next sentence they say that they were very nervous and afraid of the spirit. How is that going to work? You got to let that energy run through you without restraint, without restriction. That's the only way to manifest the spirit. You can't evoke if you're afraid of the spirit. Okay, that's that's the thing. Then when that energy is flown through you, you're merging with that energy. You can direct it through complete focus. Your entire being has to be focused on the point where you want to manifest the spirit. That could be the incense smoke or other things. Okay, and then you can communicate. You can have a conversation with the spirit. Okay, but it's not gonna be feel like talking to another person. It's gonna feel like you're observing yourself. That's what it's gonna feel like. You're gonna feel like you're observing yourself talking to that thing. You're gonna. It's almost as if you're observing this from a third perspective. You know, and then you agree on something, and then you send it out, and hopefully it's gonna stick to its agreement. Yeah, that's it. And there are also always payments to be made. Okay, so there's nothing for free ever. Okay. Do you feel love spells are evil? People make it so. The same can be said about other spells. Hello, everyone. I think this is everybody. Like everybody is gonna make their own decision. That's what I think. Okay. I believe that human beings are not by nature manipulative. And what is manipulation? Manipulation is uh, influencing the world around you. Okay. Look, if you're a woman, or if you're a woman and you're, I don't know how many of those before and after things you've seen before, okay? But women without makeup and women with makeup is oftentimes it's kind of, I mean, it's a different person. You almost don't know who you're talking to. It's like a mask, man. It's like a fucking mask. And that's very manipulative, isn't it? You know, right? So evil. I mean, I think evil means that yeah, evil is, in my opinion, my definition would be to do something to somebody and it doesn't benefit them. Okay. Now, if I put a love spell on a woman and she's with me, I have to. I personally, I would not do it if I don't believe that the woman is going to benefit from being with me. Okay. If I believe that a woman is better off with somebody else, in my mind, it's better that that she would be with a that she is with that other guy, right? So the first thing is I have to believe that I'm the best match for her, and then I gotta, then she has to be, what's the word? She has to be convinced in some way or another. Love spells evil or not, man. Of course, there are evil things that nobody can justify. But when it comes to love spells, I don't think that's evil. I don't think that's evil at all. Okay, it's it's all fair. Everything's fair in war and love, right? So yeah, yeah, and the same can be said about any other spell. Always appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us. You're welcome. Is Qigong a viable energy work practice for magicians? Yes, it is. Is a candle always needed, or is it just the best way to manifest? But candles never needed. It's also not the best way to listen. The candle has nothing to do with the manifestation. Please, 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 guys. I think I made it clear, but maybe I don't know how to make it more clear. I really don't. I really don't understand. I said right when I was explaining how to do the spell, I said the objects are just there to get you into the right state of mind. The work is done by your own energy. It's the manifestation has nothing to do with the fucking candle. The candle is just there so you can focus on something. Okay. So if you don't understand it, go back and watch this again and maybe you'll get it then. Um, later. What is the added benefit of evocation instead of only invocation? Thanks. Listen, when it comes to invocation, you have to direct the energy, you have to know exactly how to make things happen, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of work on your part, and you just don't have the right perspective oftentimes. Okay. When you do an evocation, you call up the spirit and give it a task to do. Okay. And then you send that force out to do things in the way the force see fit. And oftentimes, the spirit has a much better overview than you. You remember, you're bound to a physical body most of the time. And that gives you a very, 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 very limited perspective. The spirit doesn't have a physical body. Listen, I'm telling you, 80 to 90% of your daily thoughts are in some way or another connected to your physical being, survival, thoughts of, I mean, we're social beings, social animals. So you're standing in social groups. Most of your thoughts have to do with your status in in a group, even if it's an imagined group, and how to increase that status. That's just what it is, because the human being is a social animal. Okay, that's how we structure ourselves, our tribes or whatever you want to call that. Okay, so you're concerned with physical stuff for the most part. Okay, even if you have thoughts about your job, mostly they're going to be about social stuff, hierarchies, okay, or gossip at your job, okay. And if like it's a hierarchy, right? First, the um, the survival things are important, okay. So let's say I don't know, paying your rent or something like that. That becomes that's like very important, money for groceries. Once that is covered, another level becomes important, which is usually the social stuff. Okay. Then you start caring about how people perceive you and what they think about you and whatnot. And most of your thoughts are going to be about that. That's just what it is. And respect and all this other stuff. And that's the human animal. That's fine. But think about it. That's all connected to a physical form. So how much of your attention and awareness is trapped in this animalistic bullshit? If you're a spirit, you don't have a physical body, and um, none of that exists for that spirit. Okay, so it is much broader in its understanding of things, oftentimes. Okay, so you can use that to your benefit. If I want to pathwork the cliff off, what other pathworking should I do? The tree of life before the cliff off. Okay. Do you have a particular diet or eating habit that help you in your work? Um, yeah, I do have eating habits, but I don't know if my diet is right for everybody. You got to try your own diet. I like to have a keto diet. I like to, yeah, like to eat a keto diet. It's very low. My inflammation is very low. Um, and lots of greens. Yeah, lots of greens. When chanting Vedic mantras over and over, are some sort of visualization needed, or are the vibrations enough on their own to have the desired effects? The vibrations usually will have. Well, it depends, man. It depends. Depends what you want to do with the energy. Do you want to manifest something with it, or do you want to just get yourself into a certain state of mind? Okay, so if you want to manifest something with it, you would have to focus your attention through visualization. Okay. Why the tree of life before the cliff off? Okay, well, listen, the tree of life or the cliff off are the shadow side of the tree of life. Okay, they're interconnected in some way or another. But what you're supposed to do is transcend. You're supposed to transcend both of those trees. Okay, so you should start with Malkuth because you live in Malkuth. Okay, I don't know if you have understood that yet, or I don't know what you know about both of those, Tree of Life and the Cliff Wealth. But when it comes to the Tree of Life, you exist for the most part here in Malkuth, okay? And you have immediate access to the energies of Malkuth, okay? So it's much better, in my opinion, to start at Malkuth and to expand your awareness into the other Sephiroth, okay? But when you can't go into one of those spheres, you can't go into the tree of life. You find those things within yourself. Okay. This will give you an understanding of the self, of the energies within the self, the energies within your own psyche, your psychology. Okay. And it gives you the ability to expand your consciousness, to expand your awareness into other realms while still having a solid foundation and balance. Okay. If you were to start with the Qliphoth, which are by definition completely destabilizing and destructive, you will not have the foundation to deal with that. Okay? You will not have the foundation to deal with that. And the result is going to be sickness, psychological issues, health issues, as is demonstrated by 80 to 90% of the people that do that, meaning work with black magic or exclusively work with demonic energies. That's not good. That's not good. It's not smart. It's not intelligent. That's actually very, very stupid, dumb. And I get it. There's some. It's like thrill. There's a thrill to it. Yeah, and there's a certain fascination to the demonic and whatnot. But people just don't get it, man. This stuff is no joke. It's not a game. Okay. And this is not some virtual reality game. In fact, most people that talk about that stuff don't even know how to do it. They're just, it's a role play. It's a fucking role play. And this is, by the way, also why I only teach people who are psychologically stable. Just yesterday, I had to get rid of somebody that was on my programs because I'm not a number one. I'm not a babysitter, and let me use this. Let me use this here as a as the opportunity to uh, yeah, to make a couple of statements. You know, somebody contacted me yesterday who was a magic mentor and talked to me about their bad dreams. They can't sleep, blah blah blah. And listen, I said it many times. First of all, Magic Mentor has a lot of people on it. If I were to answer questions by everybody, I wouldn't do anything else. Okay, so I don't answer questions when it comes to the. Hey, I'm here. You can answer. You can ask questions here, but never in a private message. Never through email. I'm never going to answer questions. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I said it in every single um, video. There's a disclaimer where I only work with sane people. I work with adults. I work with people that can handle themselves. I'm not a babysitter. I'm not here to take care of people's issues and psychological problems. If you can't deal with what you're doing, you shouldn't do it. And that's what I told that person too. You don't study with me. You don't study with me. If you have psychological issues, if you have problems, if you take medication or something like that, stay away from whatever I do and teach. Period. Okay, go somewhere else, please. Okay. So the the point is you need to be an adult essentially, somebody that can handle themselves. Okay. If you can't even handle your own life, you're definitely not going to be able to deal with spirits and magic, man. That's like you're already destabilized. You bring in other energies, you're destabilizing yourself even more. That's not power. I know that you're seeking power there, but that's not where you're going to find it. You're going to find your own destruction there. That's what's up. Okay. So that's why you need to work on the tree of life. And as you do that, build yourself up psychologically, emotionally, physically. Strengthen yourself, build a solid foundation. Okay. You're supposed to get stronger through this. And then you can go into the Qliphoth and deal with those energies. Before that, I never recommend that. I don't recommend that because it's going to destroy you. Okay. And by the way, if your life, check your life. That's the reflection of it. How well of a grasp do you have over your mundane problems, or how well do you deal with the mundane challenges in your life? If you have a problem keeping a job, if you have a problem um, being productive, if you have a problem sticking to a schedule, if you have a problem leading a productive life, you know, without getting into trouble on a constant basis, you're not a powerful magician. You're a joke. You're you know, some bad accident to be happening. That's just not a good position to be in. Okay. And everything, see, you got to take responsibility for everything in your life because it's in some way or another resonating with you. Even if you didn't cause it, you take responsibility for your reaction. Okay. You take responsibility for your reaction. This is essentially being an adult. Okay, you got to be an adult to get into this. All right, if not, you're not ready for it. Okay, go somewhere else. I know people sell you bullshit. I understand that. People sell you bullshit. It's like, oh, just call up this demon and turn yourself into a god, or do this ritual and you're going to be a god. That's, please, please, guys. How old are you? Like, if you're 12, yeah, I understand. I mean, maybe as a 12-year-old, maybe not even all 12-year-olds, but I mean, some 12-year-olds, yeah, to them that makes sense. Well, yeah. But come on, if you're an adult and you buy this shit, you're definitely, I mean, this is serious business. Okay, serious. Okay. Frank, after all these years of practice, what quality made you the most successful and powerful sorcerer in this art as compared to the thousands of other people that attempt to become magicians? Um, Listen, I don't know all of them. I don't know all of them. So, uh, but what I can tell you is, one second. What do I think is a good quality, or if there's one quality? Huh. Man, that's, it's always hard to describe yourself or to analyze yourself in that manner. And what would be one quality? Um, it's probably fearlessness and not lying to myself. Okay. See, the biggest fear of most people is realizing themselves, because realizing yourself means that you are painfully aware of your own weaknesses. Okay. So I think the scariest thing is to completely realize yourself, to understand that you are uh, a temporary being. That your identity will inevitably be uh, destroyed at one point, which means our time is limited. That's it. Okay, and I have learned to not ignore that, to understand that I am a dying creature. That's what it is. I'm dying. Okay, I've died from the moment that I was born, and so does everybody else. Okay, but most people can't accept that. That's overwhelming to the psyche. It's overwhelming. Like, what does that mean? Like, I will not be here. Like, what does that mean? Because in most people's minds, actually, the entire world is about them. Believe it or not, if you could step into a random person's mind right now, you would you would experience a reality that is completely focused on them. Right? The world revolves around themselves, and that's fine. That's cool. But um, understanding that you are a mortal being, that gives you all your priorities. You will have no problem prioritizing at that point, and that's why spirituality, to me, is the most important thing, because with spirituality, I can have contact and access with eternal things that are beyond this identity. Okay, this body is aging. This body is going to die for sure. Okay, Frank is a temporary identity. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. It's hard to process, but it's a fact. I will be gone. Okay, sooner or later, right? And the same applies to everybody. So, um, fearlessness is the quality that you need. The fearlessness means that you, I believe, observe everything from that perspective. Okay, doesn't mean that you. I mean, you should enjoy life and you should be happy to be alive. You should celebrate life, but understand understand that it's going to be over at one point, and that you better prepare for what's going to come after. That's it. Okay, so I think that's what made me so good. All right. When doing timeline changes, should I ever put? I'm not gonna answer that. Okay. Okay. Um, my phone is about to die, and I don't have my charger here, so I'm gonna wrap it up now. Hope you got something out of this, and talk to you soon.